Coming up, which Democratic candidate is most likely to win the Iowa caucus? For that matter, which one's most likely to win the nomination? And what's the probability that Donald Trump will be impeached this year? How will this impact the election? And what will U.S.-China tariff rates look like a year from now? Check it out. This is Political Forecast Weekly. Welcome to Political Forecast Weekly. My name is Ben Todd. With us is a special guest, Sean Nestor. Sean is an activist. One of the great things that you've done, and one of the most notable things recently, has been the Lake Erie Bill of Rights. And for those unfamiliar with the Lake Erie Bill of Rights, can you explain what it is?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me on the show, Ben. The Lake Erie Bill of Rights was a charter amendment in the city of Toledo, which enshrined in our city's charter that we recognize Lake Erie as, and the Lake Erie watershed as a living thing with rights. So we actually granted personhood to the ecosystem, which is in line with traditional ideas of nature having rights that have been talked about in legal systems for some time, but only recently have we started to see a resurgence of it come into play as the regulatory model for environmental law has started to show some signs of weakness. So we passed that in Toledo. It's, of course, very controversial. It's undergoing litigation, but it is the law of the land that in the city of Toledo, we recognize Lake Erie as having rights, and as the citizens of Toledo, we have a right to clean water as a result.
If I'm not mistaken, Lake Erie Bill of Rights, similar to how the Supreme Court ruled corporations are people, you ruled that a lake has personhood as well. Is that correct?
Correct. And it's based on the idea that in Western law, you kind of exist in one of two states. You're either property or you're a living thing with rights. And through a series of Supreme Court interpretations dating back to the 1880s, corporations have gradually earned essentially the right to exist in court as people. And we're seeking the same thing for natural entities, ecosystems. We're trying to establish rights for nature with the understanding that we'll be able to have stronger protections for nature if we take the step of recognizing what science has known for a long time, that nature is living and deserves rights akin to what we get to have here on our legal system as people.
Okay. That's really interesting. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, more conversation with Sean. We have predictions coming up, and we will get into that soon.